Apskaužam sacensībās 25 esam labākās iegūtas otrajā braucienā, šeit ir par 3 sportistiem.
Dan geeft ze erbij.
Standings, 1,010 points for Kimberly Meylemans. She has 4 podiums this season, 2 gold medals, 2 bronze medals. Kim Meylemans from Belgium, 2nd place, 832 points, and 3rd place, 10 points less, Valentina Magaglio, Italy. And now 5 minutes till start of Ana Torres from Spain. Español, 15 minutos, it's start. Minus 3,7, control 33,7.
Race 6 of the BMW IBSF Women's Skeleton World Cup. We're in Sigulda in Latvia, and on a sunny afternoon, this race is also the European Championship counter. So in our field of 33 sleds from 18 nations, we'll be looking at, first of all, trying to make the top 25 and go through into the second hit, and secondly, looking at the European Championship order. Well, this track, 1,420 meters, is very demanding. Never straight apart from the final 2 runs from 15 through to the finish line. And it starts with a short drop-off at the beginning. And corner 1 is as critical as any. Start record dates back to December 2021. Out of the long first turn, easy to hit on the right. Try and avoid that on the run down into corner 2. You give away so much speed here. Corner 3 and then a tap into 4. Corner 5 and then into the labyrinth. After big corner 6, Down into the second labyrinth, 7, 8, corner 9 then. Here we go into the big corners, 10 and 11. Absolutely critical for the bottom of the track. Try and come out straight, short shoot into 12, into 13, 180-degree corner, 14, the first straight on the track. Skidding all the way up here into 15 is bad news indeed. And then 16 again rises over the outrun into 16, double pressure corner, and the finish line is uphill still as you come across and into the outrun. So really critical to keep the speed early on in the first 3 or 4 corners, then down through the labyrinth, and then from 11 to 16, you can give away anything. Kimberly Boss from Kim Meylemans. That's the World Cup rankings. Meylemans to 10 points ahead of Italy's Valentina Margalio. Last year's World Cup champion, Tina Hermann, is in 4th position. It's been a very busy season so far. Lots and lots of sliders returning, lots of new sliders. We have no World Cup debutants in our field today, and that's the first time in a while that has been the case. But lots of the names you're looking at in their first World Cup season. There's Kimberly Boss. She was last year's World Cup points runner-up behind Tina Hermann. There is Tina. Tina's European champion last year, ahead Janine Flock and Suzanne Kreyer. And that was held in Altenburg. Last time the European championships were held here in Sigulda. Elena Nikita won from Marina Gilardoni. And that woman, Janine Flock. Janine's quite a sensation in European Championship racing. She's had a medal in every one of the last 11 seasons in the European Championship. That is going some. She goes off quite early in the draw, start draw number 6. Didn't race here in last season's race. She was not fit to race, but she's one of a few that didn't start in last year's race, going all the way down through 33 starters, last of whom will be Endia Tiralda of Latvia. Long time since we've seen her race. Anna Mirambel with the sled for Ana Torres-Quevedo, first of our 33 starters, race 6 of the Women's Skeleton World Cup here in Sigulda and the European Championships. The 22-year-old has not had an official race here before. World Cup best, start of the season, 16th place in Beijing in China. And she gets underway, starting the race. She gives us an idea of what to expect for everybody else. So a 5:88 start. The start record from Elena Nikita is a 4:84. And then Skeleton, who were well over a tenth away from the start record. And Anna, you can hear the toes scraping. You'll hear a lot of it on this track, especially from first-time sliders. Whoa, because at the bottom, well, basically below about corner 9, you can get into a lot of trouble in a heck of a hurry. Across the line, first sled down, 54-52. Well, very much a learning process for Anna, for Adrian Fernandez, who was in the main men's competition. He crashed out, unfortunately, but I hear that he is okay. Well, Anna safely down in the first heat. We'll have to see how that stacks up, whether she gets a second or not. She was 0.1 nearly off the track record set in November 2020 by Janine Flock. You can see there on that late exit, really struggling to control the sled. There from 15 to 16, that uphill section, taking speed away if you're anything other than perfect. Second sled at the top of the track. Like Ana Torres-Quevedo, Julia Simson, her first World Cup season. This is World Cup number 5 for her. She's been racing Europa Cup here since 2016, did Junior Worlds here as well, and has been in the top 10 since December 2020. Now that was in Europe Cup racing. World Cup best, 23rd in St. Moritz, her home ice. away of 5:48, so 4 tenths in hand over Ana Torres of Spain. Nice and smooth early on. Out of corner 6, down into the lower labyrinth. 7, 8, and 9. Relatively gentle transitions until you get out of 10. Then you whip into 11 to try and control the exit, because you're then into 12 and 13. And then exit corner 14 as neat as you can. Keeps it tidy along the straight. 9 ends up. Better speed than a Spanish slider. Still working a lot with the toes, but this will give her a 53.50, 53.30, 1.2 seconds up. Again, with such a massive field of 33 starters, 25 fastest go through, so we're going to have to wait for some while, I think, to find out whether Julia Simpson is among them. Third generation of sliding talent here. Mum was a skeleton athlete, Dad was a bobsledder, Granddad was a bobsleigh world champion, Jean Wiki. So Julia Simpson leads at the moment by 1.2. Next up, Kelly Delka, 35-year-old from Puerto Rico, has plenty of sliding experience. Raced here first in Europe Cup in 2015 and 3 World Cup starts, best of which was 15th place. She was 60th in last year's race. Last year was the final round of the season. Not such a strong field. So if she can match that position or better it with another 12 months of experience, then she'll be doing well. Good start, 5:33. Nice and quiet so far. You'll hear a lot of toe dragging, lots of scritching and scratching from some sliders. But Kelly, so far, very neat tidy. 1 corrective steer out of 11, little skid into 12. Neat out of 14. This is how you keep the speed on board at the bottom. Best speed of all but wild in 15. Early height translates into an uncomfortable exit. So that lead of 4600s is going away. 3100s at the bottom. 53.01. Well, that's not a bad looking run. And that should be enough to get it into the second heat. Big height early on in 15. And that means that she had to really wrestle it off on the exit. Not seen anybody roll off 15 so far, but she came down early and then got sent right up. The scorpion there with the legs getting flicked right over the back. Shows how flexible these athletes have to be to survive these tracks. All right, Kel. Still looking for sponsors, Kelly Delka, to help her to complete the season. She is totally self-funded. Next up, the Olympic champion, Hannah Neiser. The 23-year-old gets a great start draw, 4th on the ice. 4 World Cups here. In the teens until last season when she finished 7th. Took her 2nd ever World Cup win last week in Lillehammer, where she'd been the Youth Olympic silver medalist. She said that the bill had been left open since 2016 and finally it got closed with a win last weekend. Well, a very different track in nature to this, although barely any longer. Lillehammer. And the same number of corners here, but they just rattle at you at ferocious pace here. Never a moment's speed. Best speed so far. 5:27 is the quickest stop, but we will see several going quicker than that. Nice exit of 14. Holds the height well at 15. That was a good arc through 15. Came off nicely. Not too wavy in 16, not trying to fight it too much either, and across the line, 51.87. Well, we saw the track record broken twice by two of the three final sleds in women's bob first thing this morning when it was cold and hard. No track records in the men's competition. And 51.87 is 3900ths away from the current track record. So wait and see what the cooler weather later on, or the cooler of the afternoon later on, does for us. Nice looking lines for Hannah Nizer. That's how you come out of 14. Going straight down the tubes. Yeah, well, I don't think anybody comes away going, yeah, nailed it here in Sigulda, apart from maybe Martins and Thomas Ducours. Next up, Mystique Rowe, push world champion. Come here in the Europa Cup in 2021 and in January last season. Grabbed her second World Cup silver medal last week in Lillehammer in only her 5th ever World Cup start. So let's see how she does. 4.92. There we go. Now we're in amongst the fast starters. Long skid down from 1 to 2. Little tap into corner 4 that almost everybody takes. You have to steer too hard to avoid it on a skeleton sled. Through the upper labyrinth. Out of 10 into 11. Oh, a little bit of work in 11 to control it. Whipping into 13. You can hear toes dragging and the helmet scraping as well as she gets her head down in the big pressure corners. Not the tightest of straights. She's still got a slender lead. 10th of a second in it. She might just be ahead of Hannah Nizer at the line. She's not. 2100ths back. Well, she went from 5800ths up at the third clock, the second clock, to 2100ths back at bottom. And that is the difference between knowing the track and not knowing the track. And although she's been here a couple of times, Mystique still with some nuances to learn. And here, exit of 14, Nizer's was straight. Mystique, the sled bumps sideways, hits the wall, goes sideways again, stays on the wall. So, work to do in the second heat to tie it up. No question at all, she will get a second heat. And who knows, she might still be in the mix. Well, this woman certainly should be. Janine Flock, the winner here 2 years ago, 3 years ago. She won both races. And Janine Flock, in the last 4 outings here, only last year did she not get a medal. But as I said, 11 consecutive European Championship medals. 3 gold, 4 silver, 4 bronze in 11 seasons. Her race results here: gold, 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 4th by a Worcester. 5:30 the start. Well, she's been spending a lot of time training pre-season and post-season here since she and Matthias Guggenberg hooked up with the Ducours family. She was the first beneficiary of that sled program. Now also involves the British sliders. And Janine knows how to use this sled. Look at that exit of corner 11. It's like she's in Innsbruck. From 300s back to 700s up, 1300s the advantage. Little rub into 15, uses the height well. Decent exit out of 16. Speed is excellent. Janine Flock is going to lead at the line. Now she does it again. 51.73. 3 wins on this track. Beating all comers. Only just off the podium behind Kim Meylemans in last February's race. Now Janine doing everything right. She really knows this track well. This is her home from home, if you like, the amount of time that she spent pre- and post-season training here. They know her well. I mean, they know everybody here, but they really know her here. So, Valentina Margalio of Italy, 11th in the race last year. 5 World Cups here. Her best was in December 2020, when she was 8th, one of only 2 top 10 finishes on this track. And this is a little bit like Altenburg to her. It does actually suit her driving style. She likes a busy, aggressive track. She's got a good start as well, Valentina. 5:30 for Janine Flock, 5 dead for Valentina Margalio. .800s behind Mystique Rowe in the starting stakes. Valentina 3,500s up on the current leader. A little drifting there, but not too much toe work. I think she's trimmed out for speed here. She's just going to let the sled go and see what happens. And that requires a certain degree of bravery here. 1,100s off the lead from 3,500s up. She's losing ground. Too much work to control it at the quick stuff. Steering with the head there, holding the line up in 16. Across the line, 52.44. Only the 4th best run. Janine Flock, the leader, from Hannah Nizer and Mystique Rowe, and Valentina Margalio in 4th position. And that might well be enough for another top 10 run. In 11, watch the feet. Big steers with both toes. First a left-hand toe, then the right hand to try and counter that steer a little. Out of 14, she was trying to keep it straight. Same out of 15. Got away from her, down at the far part of the track at the bottom. Kim Meylemans, bronze medalist last year, the 27-year-old from Belgium, one of 3 career World Cup bronzes, never out of the top 6 in 5 previous World Cups on this track. And Mirambel with the same colours on his hat that worked for Spain, also work here. Gold, red and black for Belgium. Let's see what Lil T's got for us today. 60th World Cup start for Kim Meylemans. She starts 5:05. She's really in good athletic form. Little rub down there into corner 2. Don't want to give away that speed early on. Down into the lower labyrinth. And now the transitions take on an altogether different nature. Out of 11 into 12, out of 12 into 13, out of 13 into 14, out of 14 onto the long straight, up to 15. 27 just up on the current leader and a 3-time winner on this track, Janine Flock. Meylemans beat her last year. Kim only got the bronze. Is she going to beat her at the line? Yes, by 900s. Oh, don't celebrate too soon. You're still going about 50 Ks there. That obviously felt good. Well, Janine Flock still with the best speed at the bottom. Kim Meylemans had a substantial advantage, starting a quarter of a second quicker. Was able to keep her lead alive all the way to the line, despite that long toe steer. Late exit here out of 15. A hit on the wall and a flop. That came kind of straight into 16.
Sunny Sigulda, woo!
It is Sunny Sigulda. And they're all loving Mr. Biscuit as well. Next up is our race winner here last year, Tina Hermann. And Tina also took bronze, tied with Kimberly Boss a couple of years ago. And another bronze medal in the first World Cup race here, behind Elena Nikitina and Liz Meyer. Oh, she is not next up. I've missed out. Nicole Silveira of Brazil. What am I doing? 60th start for Kim Meylemans. 25th World Cup race for Nicole Silveira. Nicole with 4 World Cups here. Her best was last season in 12th place. 4th best velocity off the 4th best start. Nice and smooth and quiet so far. No toe scratching at all. There's the first. Little correction from 10 into 11 and through 11. The less that you hear, the better the speed is going to be. He's the next out of 14. Height in 15 and crashes off the exit. Climbs back on. And across the line, 53.08. Well, little applause from Anna Mirambel and Richard Bromley. But Nicole, early height in 15, had to bring it down hard. And that was too early an exit, came right back up. So she goes straight up towards the woodwork. Didn't hit it, but had to bring the sled back down. You can't control the way it plunges back down from there. She knew she was in trouble. Centrifugal force pushes her up the corner when it's no longer a corner. And the Scorpion there, hugely exaggerated. She gets rolled off the sled, wrestles her way back on. All right, well, a 53.08 might be enough to get her into the second heat. At the moment, Nicole Silveira of Brazil, despite that crash, is 7th out of our 9 sliders. Next up is Tina Hermann, last year's winner, last year's European Championship as well. She won that in Altenburg, ahead of Janine Flock and Suzanne Kreyer. 4-time world champion, who's now on the Olympic medals again this season. 6 World Cups here, 3 podium finishes, those 2 bronzes and last year's win. Now she's in good sliding form again this season. Starting 5:39. Kim Meylemans, the current leader, starting 5:05. So in 1,400 meters, she's got to basically find a 1/10 of a second per 100 meters, and that is not easy. Nice smooth exit, but still 8/10 back. Only the 4th best speed. Janine was fastest at the bottom. Meylemans was close as well, and at the line, 6th it is, ahead of Kelly Delka, 100 behind Valentina Margalio. So 52.45 slide for Tina Hermann. And here, long drift on the straight. All costs you, especially early on. Those straights from 14 to 15 and 15 to 16 are so dramatic. You get so often so sideways. But drifts early on, skids early on, really cost. Suzanne Kreyer, the skeleton world champion. 1 World Cup here, that was in February last year. She finished in 5th place. That was straight after winning the World Championship gold in Samoritz. A couple of weeks after. That's her only World Cup appearance here. Yet to win a World Cup race. 2 silver medals, 1 bronze. And a best of 5th here in Sigulda, 5:10. So that's a good start. Kim Meylemans, the leader, 5:05. Valentina Margalio, 5 dead. Fastest starter, Mystique Rowe. Mystique still in 4th place. off a 4.92 getaway. So Suzanne Creyer, fourth on the splits, off that fourth best time. Quiet through 11. This promises much for Suzanne Creyer. She's only a 10th back. Pretty clean on 14 to 15, but the gap has really opened up. 7th best speed at the bottom. It's not going to be a top 3 run. She's going to be behind Mystique Rowe, and no, she's just in front of her by 200ths of a second. So found the bottom of the track a little tidier than the American slider. 52.06 to leave her in 4th place. But she's 1900ths out of the top 3 at the moment. .42 off the lead for Suzanne Creyer. That first World Cup win is going to have to wait for another race.
Viele Grüße nach Hause.
Well, she was top 5 last year. She's currently in 4th place with Kim Meylemans, the leader, from Janine Flock. Kimberly Boss from the Netherlands is the 12th of our 32 starters. Yellow jersey signifying our World Cup points leader. Of course, runner-up in the World Cup last year, Tina Hermann, but outdriving the Germans so far this season, outdriving everybody so far this season. And her Low Countries arch rival, Kim Meylemans, is the current leader. And now Kimberly Boss, from a 500 slower start, is level. Now, Suzanne Creyer also started 5.10 and came down 2900ths off the lead. Oh, lots and lots of toe dragging, real hard steering from Kimberly Boss. The speed's all gone away. What was looking like a leading run has taken a very definite turn for the worst from 11 on down. She'll be doing well to be in the top 5. It is 6th place for Kimberly Boss, nearly 8 tenths back.
Ooh, hello. That's the first.
All right, big height here. Comes out, cannons into the wall. That was the transition from 11 through 12 and into 13. And then down at the bottom of the track, at the highest speeds, just struggling a little. The sled not quite where she needed it to be. Well, one more heat to go. I'm sure she will get another, no question at all about that, I think. What about Jacqueline Pfeiffer of Germany, 2017 world champion? 5 World Cups here, the last in December 2021. Her best was the first back in the 2018-19 season, where she finished 5th. Tina Hermann's 3rd. Come on, Jacka. There'll be a lot of that in Winterberg, her home track, for the Skeleton World Championships at the end of this month. Over the brow, and she loads. Where's she going to be with the start? 5:37. Tina Hermann started 5:39 and is down in 8th position. Jacka with the 10th fastest start so far, in 10th place, and it takes a while to make that speed back up. Ooh, helmet dragging there, and some toe steering in 11. That's the helmet shattering on the ice there as well. It's worn the paint away already on Kim. 4th best speed. This might be top 6 of the line for Jackie Pfeiffer. How close is she going to be? Sixth place, 52.26, 62 hundredths back. Well, from our German contingent, Hannah Neisser lies third. Suzanne Kreher in fourth place, 9 hundredths behind Neisser. 19 hundredths behind Neisser, beg your pardon. And Jacka is 2/10 behind Kreher. And Tina Hermann is a further 2/10 behind Jacka. So they are spread to the four wins. Well, Lerling, you can see the marks on the helmet, look, and on the visor there, where her nose has bounced against the inside of the visor under G-forces. So at least she didn't get a bloody nose like Felix Seibel, her teammate, did in the men's race. Well, for China, it's already been a momentous day. Yin Cheng claimed his first ever World Cup win, China's second in men's skeleton. So can another of Mark Wood's prodigies score well here? What about Xiao Dan? Notice how much of a cutout she's got at the front of the sled to allow her chin in. Not the tallest of athletes. 2 World Cup starts here. She was 23rd in December 2021, her first race in Sigulda, and finished 14th last season. 6th best start, still in 6th on the splits. Whoa, bit of extra height. Pretty clean through 11. Still top 6 for Xiao Dan. Nice exit out of 14. 7th best speed, drifting away from the top half dozen into 8th place at the moment on the splits. This is still ahead of Tina Hermann, and it is 6th at the line, 52.18. So she was pretty clean, 10 to 11, and that helped her build speed further down. She didn't skid it away out of 14 or 15. Top 6 for Xiao Dan. A 10th away from 5th. 2/10 from 3rd. Also good cohesive load, 5.16 giveaway. Look at the exit there out of 14. Working nicely for her. Just looking a little to the left with her head just to drift the sled across to get onto 15 nicely.
Okay.
That's okay. 14th of our 33 sleds. And 15th starter as we approach the midpoint of the field is Hallie Clark of Canada. Didn't race here previously in the World Cup. Did do Intercontinental Cup in December 2021 where she finished 4th. So that and a combination of a couple of quick tricks to the coffee shop Mr. Biscuits will probably have left her feeling pretty good after this training couple of days. 12th World Cup start for Hallie Clark. Little skid from 1 to 2. Very sideways there. More than Tina Hermann. And sliding around at the top of the track. Well, they're not dramatic hits on the wall, but the sled going sideways where there's not much speed and no pressure from the G-force to keep it in line. And as a result of a 6th best start, she's only got the 14th best speed. Not controlling sled at all well at the top. Half a second back. Now, even now, at high speed, she's not got the control she needs. Across the line, 8th. Wow. 6th best start, 8 at the bottom, but she was out to 10th on the split midway through. Tidied it up at the bottom of the track. And again, the late exit. Although the sled comes down, she has to bring it down, and G-forces are still working to push her leg sideways. That's what causes the skid. Tabby Shurka is next up for Great Britain. Kim Meylemans leads from Janine Flock and Hannah Nizer. We have 15 sleds down and 17 to go. Raced here in December 2021 in the Europa Cup. She has done pre-season training here as well, but still perhaps not the track she knows best. This is only her 6th World Cup. So this has been a season of learning under the spotlight. She already has a win and a bronze medal under her belt, but none on this track. Whoa, long skid from 1 down to 2. That's so costly. And again, sliding into corner 4. 4:91 is the fastest start we've seen, so she's still in the green. Tabby just seems to have a bit of a natural fluency. Little steer in 11. Little steer into 13. Still in the green. The gaps come right down. Now she's a red and big skid into 15. That's really going to cost her. Out of 16, another long skid up the hill into 16. And across the line, 6/10 back. Well, early on, she was 1800ths up from that electrifying getaway that she has. Comes across the line in 7th place, 6/10 back. Always words of encouragement from Martin.
A bit skiddy, but what can we do? Second run.
What can we do? Well, react to what you found in the first heat. Like everybody else, she'll try and improve on race day ice. Look at those runners getting sideways. And although the contact patch isn't huge, when you put it sideways, it gets a lot bigger. Goes from being the width of your little finger to the breadth of your hand, basically. So from 4 or 5 mil to 6 or 7 centimeters. Well, if only she looked like she was having fun, eh? Next up, Mimi Reneva of Canada. Returned to World Cup racing in Lillehammer last week. This is her 5th World Cup here, after the 7 that have been contested. 12th and 21st, 13th and 6th are her 4 results here. 6th place last year. 52nd World Cup race for Mimi. Another strong getaway, 5:05. Mirella Reneva was a name that I'd read many times before I ever got to meet her in World Cup racing, because she had such great junior success. Quite a number of start records had fallen to her as well. And now with all the experience of sliding on ice, she's within touching distance of the leaders. Only 1300 back, comes into 15, gets a decent-ish exit into 16. This could be the 2nd fastest run of the competition so far. Mimi's across the line in 3rd. 1100s cover the top 3. That's a really good run from Mimi Reneva, and she knows there was stuff to tidy up. If I can see it, she definitely knows it. Just a little moment of quiet contemplation. Well, good control in 11, minimal steering, got the exit she wanted into corner 12. Little skid into 12. Well, out of 14, it was pretty clean. And out of 16.
Hi, classroom champions.
Works for Classroom Champions, motivating kids using athletes. Program set up by Olympic champion Steve Mesler. Now then, Liu Shi of China. In her 2 previous World Cup races here, in 2021 and 2023, either side of COVID, in other words, she's had a best of 14th. That was last year. 25 years of age. Still one of the younger sliders, only the 15th World Cup race. 2 fewer than a younger teammate, Xiao Dan. 10th best velocity off the 10th fastest start, but keeps it neat and tidy in the slow first corners. No skids in the run from 1 to 2 to 3. Probably is the equivalent of having a 10th faster of a start. Maintain what you've got, but he's losing it all the way down here. And you can hear why as much as see. Out of 14, pretty clean, but already 6 tenths back. Speed is nowhere near where it needs to be. Where's she going to be at the line? Top 15, 14th. 52.0. 10th best start, 14th at the bottom. You can see that long left toe drag that everybody's doing in corner 11 just to stop the sled rising too high on the second pressure. But whoa, big late exit there. That sends her into 16, all at 6s and 7s. Yeah. Don't see too many jubilant faces at the end of a run in Sigulda. It's definitely more questions than answers. Willie Schneider holding the sled for Alessia Crippa of Italy. Alessia, 3 previous World Cups here in 2020 and in 2021. 2 17th places and a 19th place finish in race 2 of 2021. Hasn't been here in 3 years. That's not going to help her learning. 5.06. Another strong getaway. Top 6 start, but again, a drift into the wall from 1 to 2. Sort of seems that the faster they come into corner 1, the more likely they are to have skids on the way down to corner 2. Cutting the corner a little there in the labyrinth, and that didn't work. Out of 10 into 11. Nice and quiet here. You're actually hearing more hits than you are co-steering, which might be the lesser of the 2 evils. Both has gone from 6 to 15 to 38 hundredths back. So below 11, it has not gone the way that she'd hoped. And across the line, a second back, 52.64. So 400ths behind Liu Shi of China. Li in 14th and Alessia in 15th. Well, they shouldn't worry too much about making the second heat. Pretty likely that they are going to. But Alessia down at the bottom of the track. Just struggling a little. Speed going away by that station here. It's a classic out of 14. Sled comes off straight and then braked into a big skid. The G-force is still working on you. Great wins Amelia Coltman next up. Teammate Tabby Sturker, the first of the British sliders to go down. And Tabby in 8th place. European champion in men's skeleton. Her teammate Marcus Wyatt, silver medal, went from Matt Weston ahead of Felix Keisinger. Let's see if the young British sliders in the women's team can get themselves up towards the top of the field. 5.16, 10th best start, but a clean run from 1 to 2. Little skid in a brush going into 4. 2900s back, 7th best speed. So she's gone from the 10th best start Out to 12th on the splits, now up to 9th. And if she can keep it neat and tidy here, use her knowledge in this track. Big height in 15, comes out clean though on the run up to 16. And this could move her closer to the lead trio across the line. She's in 4th. Yes, that is a big slide from Amelia Coltman. That is a very big run from Amelia Coltman. She's a bit winded there on the outrun. I'm not surprised. And Amelia Coltman, 10th best start to 4th at the bottom. Good exit out of 11. All the quick stuff, she was pretty much hitting the numbers. She had a couple of little skids you saw from 11 to 12. And here again, just leaning the head and the shoulders to bring the sled back. Trying to avoid too much tap. You are on.
Watching. Hopefully a better run next one.
All right, well, if it's better than the next one, then we might be looking at potentially breaking into the medals for the first time from Amelia Coltman. World Cup best so far is a 6th place finish in Lillehammer. Well, next up with the yellow Big Shock helmet is Anna Fernstedt from the Czech Republic. 4th place finish in November 2020 is her best result, just off the podium behind Janine Flock. Out of 5 World Cup starts here. Let's see if Anna can start to find a form that's been a little elusive this season. 5:45 getaway. And a little touch on the wall, heading down into turn 4. Down into the lower labyrinth. Nice steers in corner 11, good control. But she's not finding much in terms of pace. It's her own design of sled that she's using this year. 19th best speed, 19th fastest start. She's 20th on splits at the moment. Across the line, it is 20th place, 53.41. Well, it's tough enough learning a new sled, even tougher when you're designing it yourself. Well, we know she can drive, and it's getting the right equipment under her that is going to help her turn around this reverse in form over the last season or so. Still fighting with diabetes, which she was diagnosed with a couple of seasons ago. So she's got a lot on her plate. Still one of the more experienced athletes in the field, and here is another one. Anna Fernstedt with 51 World Cup starts now under her belt. Jane Channel with 68 in the rearview mirror. This is World Cup dart number 69. 4 of them have been here. The best was her first back in 2018, the first World Cup race here in over 20 years, where she finished in 4th place, just behind bronze medalist Tina Hermann. Teammate Liz Meyer took the silver. And away she goes, 5:03. Still got so much speed at the start, but again, a quick run into turn 1. And she taps on the way down to 2. A little skid and a tap into 4. Chin on the ice. Whipping out the 13 and 14. Pretty straight. Oh, broke too soon. Oh, big height in 15. Hits hard on the exit. I think she didn't come off the sled, but she has gone deep into the red, and at the line, a long way back in 15th. Her 4th best start. Well, every day can't be your best, And that was not a top draw drive in Sigulda.
Skiddy.
Yeah. I'm guessing that today's race is quite different from how it was in training. Late height, and that always leaves you with a skid on your hands. The transitions here are so short. There's no time to sort anything out. Just two straights worthy of the name. And they're ones that just sap the speed. Big height early in 15. She gets forced down earlier than she wants to.
Lots to clean up. Run 2, here we go.
There you go. Accentuate the positive. Next up, Katie Julender, 2012 World Champion in women's skeleton. 3 World Cups here, 2004, 2005. Yeah, I know, another lifetime. And 2021. 4th in her first appearance here. That was first full World Cup season. Katie still capable of really producing the goods. As we saw in St. Moritz, bronze medal on her first World Cup in 2 years. She's had a couple of breaks, seasons away for injury. She blew a knee, got hit in a snowmobile accident. She went off to do weightlifting. She went off to do track cycling, trying to qualify for summer games in different sports, and returns as ever to ice sliding. On 16th at the start, still 16th position, and across the line in 12th place, 52.33. Well, her 2 last outings, which were 16 years apart, the most recent of which was 3 years ago, were both in 10th place. In 11, left toe, just giving a gentle nudge to the sled to drag it down from a late exit. That's out of 11 in 12, and then big height, corner 12. And then whipping straight onto 13.
Had a great run.
Hi,
guys.
Who has had a great run? Who's come off here going, oh, that was fantastic, I killed it? Nobody so far. Next up, Alessandra Fumagalli of Italy. While Katie Julender is in her 97th or so World Cup, Alessandra in her 11th. Raced here in February. She's in 13th position. World Cup best ever result, a top 12 finish in La Plan. She's had 2 13th place finishes, which previously were her World Cup best, one of which was here. So there's a track in which she has had PBs. And she could do with another one today. 5:10 getaway, 8th best start. Just about keeps it straight, a little late onto 2. Thing into 4. Just a little bit of speed early on. 5th best start. 8th best start with that. She's out to 14th place at the moment on the split. You can hear alternating between the chin of the helmet on the ice. You can see where the Captek's already been worn away just in this run. And some toe steering as well. 8th at the start, looks like it's going to be 18th at the line. No, she finds speed, goes from 16th to 15th to 12th at the line. 52.32. Well, Alessandra Fumagalli, 100th of a second ahead Katie Julender. And again, in 11. Everybody is toe steering through 11 to make those corrections.
Thank you, Sigulda, for not killing me yet.
Next run.
Yeah, next run you can have another go. 1200s ahead of her teammate Valentina Margalio.
Come on, Sarah. Here you go. Here we go.
All right,
Good.
next for the USA, Sarah Roderick. Let's see what the third-year-old has got here. Raced here once in the Intercontinental Cup in December 2021. Probably roughly remembered where everywhere was in training. So second race on this track. More than a couple in the field. Whoa, 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 whoa. Pops the groove as she's loading. Only the 6th World Cup, and that's what happens to her at the start. She rubbed the wall and straightened herself up a bit. We have seen much worse looking pop groove starts. She's gone from 15th best start to the tail of the field. 25th of our sliders, Sarah Roderick. Now she's recovering her speed a little. 24th on the splits. Oh, that's heartbreaking. The speed of this track means you absolutely cannot even think about it until you come across the finish line, and then you rue what might have been. Well, you got to focus on keeping yourself in one piece down this track. You don't want to get hurt this close to the World Championships. Whoa! Just as she loads, the second knee goes on, pops the sled out of the groove. She does what she needs to, gets herself into a driving position. The wall's going to bring the sled back down towards corner one, but I mean, look at the amount of ice it's digging out. Try and do that with your toe of your boot and tell me how much energy it takes out of your foot.
Sorry. That was
Yeah. There you go. One of those days. So 25 down. Next up, 26 of our starters. Here's Great Britain's Freya Tarbett, like Sarah Roderick, in her 6th World Cup race. Turns hard with the sled for the 23-year-old. Made a World Cup debut in Winterberg in January 2023. Her best result, 7th place then. Has done 3 seasons here, trained for a Europa Cup race in 2021 that did not then start. 5:03, another strong getaway from Freya Tarbett. These 3 young British sliders definitely have enormous potential, just 100th off the lead. Nice and smooth through the labyrinth. Out of 10. All waving around in 11. Not too much toe correction, but the sled had a mind of its own there. It's looking pretty skiddy. She's gone from 4th at the start down to 14th on the splits. Big height in 15, avoids the wall. Coming into 16. This is going to be a top-end run at the line. 12th place, 52.31. Big smiles, as ever, from Martin Stucours.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah, 11. It's always 11, isn't it? Well, if it's not 11, it's always somewhere else as well. But not a bad drive from Freya Tarbett in 12th place. 400s behind 11th place, Hallie Clark. And 500s out of the top 10. So definite potential. Next up, Julia Erlacher of Austria, former heptathlete. She made a World Cup debut in Whistler at the beginning of last season, did the first 3 races and no more last year. And then started again this season. This is only her 7th World Cup race. Innsbruck, her best result, with 17th place finish there. She has raced here a couple of times in the Intercontinental and Europe Cup races. Nice smooth load. And she gets away in 5:13, 12th best start. Trying to keep that speed alive early on. Sweeping out a 6. Not quite keeping pace with the front runners. She's gone out from 12th at the start to 14th on the splits, out to 15th. Not an awful lot of toe dragging going on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Lots going on from 14 up to 15. And again, tap dancing all the way down to 16. Trying to keep her shoulders huddled down over the sled, out of the airstream, across the line. 21st place, 52.67. Like everybody else, gets up with, lots to think about. And, those wretched corners got me again. There's Thomas Tuchel. It's great to see him around. Hello to everybody back home and thank you for watching. Well, here's the exit of 14. Kind of comes straight, but she knows she's got a skid going. Oversteers it back. So much contact with that left toe that in fact she creates that skid. And then she's on the wrong side going into corner 15. Full of life and excitement. Julia Erlacher. She's got a shot at making the race. So too her teammate Anja Unterscheider. Alex Auer, the coach, his brother Florian did not make the second heat for Austria in the men's race. Sammy Meyer did. Let's see if Anja Unterscheider does. By the way, 25th at the moment is Anna Fernstedt. Sarah Rogic and Anna Torres-Quevedo are out of the race as we're in go fast or go home territory. Anja Unterscheider starts with a 5:52. So she has a lot of work to do in 1,400 meters. Only the 4th World Cup for this 20-year-old slider. Raced here 3 times previously, including last January, all in Europe Cup action. And we've got athletes in the field that have come from a variety of different backgrounds. Lots of track and field. Pretty sure that Anja Unterscheider is the first competitive climber we have had in skeleton. She comes across the line, she climbs enough up the order to put herself in the race now in 20 seconds. And that means there is no second heat for the Czech Republic's Anna Fernstedt, a former 4th place finisher. So she's just come down a 10th behind teammate Julia Erlacher. Is that enough to get her into the second heat? It might just be. Exit of 14. Doesn't fight the sled, lets it go. Now she's starting to lean just to avoid the wall. A little bit over-leaning. Actually,
Thanks for watching. Danke fürs Zuschauen.
Nice 14 to 15. Big smile on her face. She might be in, you know. Aline Peltmans, the second of our Belgian athletes in the field. Now, teammate Meylemans is the leader. Meylemans may not be under threat from young Aline Peltmans. Not today, anyway. 5:39 the start. 24th fastest. So as she lies down, she is in the race. A couple of little skids early on. Still in 24th place, nice and quiet though. Oh, gets a little head down in 11. Quiet run out of 14. She's just dropped out of the race. Has she got any speed to get herself back in? 25th at the moment is Switzerland's Julia Simpson, and 27th the line for Janine Meylemans. So Simpson remains in the race for the moment. So 53.52. Julia Simpson might be in trouble. There are two Latvian trained sliders coming up. Tata Zunta, who now slides for Estonia, but who started her career here in Latvia. And the last sled to go might be a tough one for somebody, India Toroida. Toroida with one bronze medal on this track in her career. Well, there's a big smile from Janine Meylemans. And next up is Katrina Eigenmann from Liechtenstein. Tata Zunta waiting in the background. Katarina, like Rasmus Johansson of Denmark, being helped out by the German program. That's the Bundestrainer Christian Lauder helping her with the sled at the start. 16th in the 2020 Youth Olympic Games. She's raced here in 2020 and 2021 in the formative years of her career. And she starts 5.68, 29th, and a long slide from 1 down to 2. And a bump into 4 as well. Sweeps through 6 and into the lower labyrinth. Big counter steer in 11. Not a bad straight. Oh, press into a late skid going into 15. Head down in 15 and it's going to be 29th place at the line for Katrina Eigenmann. So no second heat for her here today. .53.96. So start was a 5.68 and a 53.96 downtime. And halfway down the straight, the sled breaks sideways, completely heading in the wrong direction as she gets onto corner 15. And that sends her immediately straight towards the roof. And then she has to scramble to get out in one piece, but a big smile on her face still. The adrenaline buzz in this sport is hard to beat. For Estonia, formerly for Latvia, Tata Zunta. So he grew up learning how to slide on this track. Two athletes will follow her. You can see Laura Vargas of Colombia behind. And India Toroida last to go for Latvia. Well, Tata should have what it takes to get into the race here. 5:31 getaway. Racing here since 2016. She hasn't started a World Cup race here, but she has taken medals in Europe Cup races. This is very much her home track. 22nd at the start, trying to keep that speed alive. Two World Cup starts for Latvia in Samrit and Innsbruck in January 2021, and 2 so far this season. 22nd place. She may not make it any higher, but she is in the race now. 19th at the line. And that means Julia Simpson is out and Tata Zunta is in. If the Estonian slider was ever going to make the field with more comfort, it was going to be here. Well done. So career high of 18th place in Innsbruck, which is to date her 4th and most recent World Cup start. And Datasунta comes across the line here in 19th place, just 600s away from a potential career equaling performance. Well, she knows her way around at this place. For Laura Vargas, though, it's a very different proposition. 18th in the Youth Olympics in 2016 when she was the Canadian slider. And she still trains with the Snipers. And Joe Keeney there. 5th World Cup start for her. One previous race on this track in Europe Cup in January 2020. Long enough ago that she's probably forgotten where most of the places in town are. Never mind the corners on the track. 5:52 getaway. At the end of the season, when we head after the World Championships to Lake Placid, she will be really for the first time on a track that she sort of knows properly, has much less experience in the European tracks than she does in North America. 29th at the start, out to 30th at the moment, ahead of Katrina Eigenmann and Anna Torres-Quevedo. Big height in 15, little flop of 16. 29th, 28th on the split. It's going to be close, but not close enough to the race. 53.50. So no second heat for Laura Vargas of Colombia. And Nicole Silveira of Brazil may not make it in either. Nicole, of course, had that big high exit of 15. Really had to wrestle herself back on the sled. Otherwise, she would have been a shoe-in. Colombia does not make it in. And our second South American nation might be in trouble. Because this is Latvia's Endia Tarada. Now, her last race, officially, was the Olympic Games in February 2022, where she finished 20th. So she has not had a Europe Cup or World Cup or ICC start since. 3 World Cup starts here. Her best was a bronze medal, her very first race here. And that was in race 1 in 2020-2021. She was 11th a week later. And 11th here and Innsbruck are her second best results. Now, she should make it into the race, even on a 5:48, 28th best start. We've just seen former Latvian slider Datasунta make it into the race off a 5:31. And Endia Tarada should make it in off a 5:28. He is in 26th spot on the split. It might be tighter than she would like. 27th best speed and a lot of corrective steering going on. Is the Latvian going to get a second heat on home ice at the line? 24th, she is in, and Nicole Silveira of Brazil is out. Clearly remember that first race in the 2021 season, last before COVID. And this young lady in third after the first heat and still in third after the second. She was as shell-shocked as the rest of us, because that was home ice. That really came out of nowhere. And a week later, she couldn't repeat it. She was in 11th place. And now, making it into the race in 24th spot. Kelly Delca of Puerto Rico is the final athlete in field. And the last to go will be our first heat leader. And that is Belgium's Kim Meylemans. Kim took a bronze medal last year, her first on this track. And her World Cup best. 3 bronze medals. So, how is she going to feel as the changing room completely empties while she's sitting there cogitating? Janine Flock, a 3-time consecutive winner on this track, is second, just 900s back. Mimi Reneva, she is lying in 3rd place. Mimi has not had a medal here. And there are some titanically close battles. But Freya Tabet, Alessandro Fumagalli, Katie Ulander, 3 sleds, 200s. I mean, it's like that all the way down the order. And again, 25th, Delka. That crash for Nicole Silveira really cost her a chance. She should have been 3-4 tenths higher up the order than she was. So she is the first of those who do not get a second heat. Yulia Simshin, Anna Fench, Lara Vargas, Aline Pelkman, Sarah Roderick, Katarina Eigenmann and Anna Torres Correda will join her on the sidelines watching the second heat. And that comes up at 16:50 local, 14:50 GMT. That is 09:50 Eastern. So that is in 35, 34, 33 minutes from now. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Is that okay? Sigulda!